Hello and welcome everyone. Today we have something a little different for the channel. It is the first time we have seen a Jaguar GR1 stroke GR3 or any form of Jaguar, that is. Probably because it's the first time I've ever owned one. And it's the first time that I have featured the brand Italeri on the channel. I have a weird relationship with Italeri in that I have made quite a few of their kits in the past. However, as I got older, I started finding them a little bit underwhelming. You know, very basic and not as good as you could get from other brands for a similar or slightly lower price. So I essentially boycotted them and just stopped buying them. They were historically inaccurate in ways that just annoyed me. However, sometimes you don't have much of a choice. And there's not really much out there in terms of 1/72nd scale Jaguar. I saw this and went, yes, you know what, might as well, let's give it a go. As to how much this Jaguar will cost, well, according to the sponsored section on Google, it's anywhere from just under 15 quid to about £21. I have seen this recommended at Hannants, who I usually use to get information on new releases. Theirs was, I believe, 18. I saw this at another retailer for £15 and thought I would pick it up. So today we're just going to see what is inside the box, what you get when you open up this beast. And straight away you have this very eye-catching artwork, and both of these aircraft are options that you get in the kit, which I quite like. You've got two planes, different colours, but both of them are schemes that are acceptable. Very, very nice. It gives you the product code number 1459, the scale 1/72nd, the brand and the aircraft as we've already seen. And down here it tells you that there's a super decals sheet, plural for some reason, for 5 versions, all of them British, which fair enough, I like that. It also tells you that it contains one model, which fair enough, it's got 2 on the box. However, figures are not included. I'd probably rather they include figures, but at least they're telling me they're not included, so, you know, not too bad. On this edge, we have the history of the Jaguar in multiple languages. Pause to read your language of choice if you wish. A copy of the same information on the front, and it tells you that it's in their aircraft range, which is very helpful, especially with a name like Jaguar. And the other long edge, we have a drawing of the first scheme, which is now upside down, but hey, maybe it's doing aerobatics. But it's a drawing of that scheme, and also it's got a drawing of the decal sheet, which I really like. So I'm quite pleased with that, and I'm quite pleased with it telling you there's no figure. So far, so good. Both shop edges are exactly the same. Again, it tells you it's in their aircraft range. There's the brand, that's the aircraft, that's the scale. There's a little line drawing with dimensions, tells you there are 5 schemes, little snippet of the picture, and the product code. And then we flip over to the back and we see another thing that I like, which is having all of the colour options, all of the decal schemes printed on the back. So you pick this up, you go, oh look, they're doing a Jaguar. I wonder if there's any decent colours. You look at the box, oh, it tells me exactly what I need to know. And admittedly, I already know, spoilers, that there's a few errors in this one. For example, look, it's clearly green, grey, red and some sandy colour, and it only tells you you're going to need green, grey and black. But hey, whatever. But it gives you an indication of what paints you're going to need and all the schemes you've got. So there we go. Scheme A, B, C, D, and E. And then some usual stuff. For adult collectors age 14 and over, ideal. If you see this in a shop, you'd kind of like to know if you're going to get something good or if it's going to be 14 people. No, obviously either Google in the middle of a shop or just guess or just take a gamble. But although at no point does this kit actually tell you what the tooling date is, their kit number 67 in the desert colour. It has also been released by Revell, or at least in a Revell box, and in a Tamiya box as well. Look at that, the Jaguar GR1 in a Tamiya box. So if you see that, it's actually the Italeri kit, apparently. And this version is shown here, 2021, hence the copyright on the box. And there is a newer release, the T2, which is actually what inspired me to buy this. I saw the T2 available in a local shop and wondered if they also did the GR1 version, or, you know, the single seat version. And yes, clearly they do, because here we are. So the other thing which is unusual for me is that this arrived only this morning, and I haven't opened it, and I intend to build it straight away, and that is very odd. Usually I end up with kits in my stash for weeks, months or years, but this isn't even going to last a day. I'm cutting it open. I'm recording this just so that I can get a chance to start building it, because I just want to see what it's like. So, we have a rather large decal sheet, unceremoniously plonked next to the instructions, but it is at least behind this protective film, which is a good start. It tells you that these are printed by Zanchetti Buccinasco, whoever they are, I don't know. Don't know if they're any good. It's been a long time since I've made an Italeri kit, as I said, so we'll have to wait and see. But everything appears to be in register. There's a very detailed lion on the side of Scheme A. What appears to be a Spitfire with a cracking hairdo for Scheme B. You can clearly make out the no step marks and all of the fine text. So printing seems really, really good. Yeah, look forward to those. Instructions then, right. They are stapled. It's a stapled booklet. All the same information on page 1 as we've already seen on the box. And as usual, I'm not going to go through every single step, just see if there's anything that jumps out at me. We'll get round to it when we build it to make sure that they actually make sense. So it's got a nice sprue map. I do like the inclusion of a sprue map in instructions. I think it's very, very helpful. It also tells you not to use those parts, which is obviously some of the weaponry, presumably not for either of the GR1 or GR3 versions. Paints then, they use the same system as a lot of companies where they use letters. So you've got A, B, C, D, E. They do give you the Italeri acrylic colour for them. No other brands involved, but the fact that it gives you federal standard paint codes as well means you can at least look it up. You can convert it online to your brand of choice. So, you know, not that bad. I quite like it. And we start clearly with the interior, as you would expect. It looks basic, to put it mildly. It's a very simplistic interior, isn't it? It's got moulded on seatbelts, apparently. Or harnesses, not seatbelt, it's a harness. Okay, fair enough. And the bulk of the aircraft is made separately to the nose section, which makes perfect sense, especially as they do a trainer version. You only have to redo the nose, which would explain why it is on a separate sprue here. So I assume all of this, including the tail, is different for the T2. So yeah, makes sense. Nice ergonomic way of designing a kit. That will be the different, whatever they are for the GR3. Wings and weaponry, again, just telling you alternative versions, so nothing exactly shocking or new here, is it? Nothing should be a revelation. Undercarriage on. Doesn't mention any weight, does it? Or have I missed that? I'm going back. Let me check. No mention of weight. I may test that. Yeah, I'm not going to just rely on it. I'm going to double check. To be fair, the main undercarriage is so far back, it probably won't need any weight, especially because it's got a single tail. We'll get there in a sec. Single tail and a long nose, and the centre of gravity will, on a real aircraft, will be the tip of the wings. There's obviously no engines here, so the back's going to be a lot lighter. So we should be all right. We'll see. Ah, yes, putting decals on weaponry. Everyone's favourite. Look at that. Fantastic. In case you can't tell, being a bit sarcastic. But hey, never mind. Don't have to include weapons. It could be flying clean. Oh, that's it. That's it. 8 steps. 8 steps to build the Jaguar. And then we have call-outs in colour. Look at that. It's not hard. Everyone's got a colour printer these days. I haven't. Lots of people haven't. But anyway, lots of businesses should have a colour printer. So anyway, here we have Scheme A. It doesn't actually tell you where it's based, but on the box it tells you that it's RAF Coltishall. They are the colours involved. Lovely stuff. Scheme B, which this time does tell you it's based at RAF Coltishall. Both of these are anniversary schemes as well. You see on the tails it's got 1916 to 2005, and that's got 1915 to 2005. So nice. They've gone for special ones rather than just plain, boring old double grey Jags. Scheme C, that is definitely not RAF Coltishall, although interesting use of a green drop tank rather than one matching the body. Oh, and here, so this is the colourful one, Scheme D, which is standard RF camo. Again, anniversary schemes. They're doing special schemes for all of them, all of the options, which is nice. However, there it shows what I assume is the drop tank camouflaged, and there it's showing it in flat sand. I don't know why that is. But then again, it also looks like a slightly different shape, so maybe it's a different part. I don't know. Confusing. Either way, very colourful option. And the fifth and final one is the GR3 from the Jaguar Retirement Parade in 2007. Yes, unfortunately, these aircraft do not grace our skies anymore. So I live in Norwich, as some of you may know, which is quite close to RAF Coltishall. And when I first moved around these parts, admittedly before I moved to Norwich, but first moved to East Anglia, I used to see Jaguars flying over on a fairly regular basis, and were both interested by them, but also didn't pay them the attention that modern day me would. So this is my attempt at doing the Jaguar justice and making a model of it, rather than just ignoring them flying over. Anyway, onto the plastic. As we've already seen from the sprue map, everything is in 2 grey sprues. We also have the clear parts, which are in their own separately sealed bags. So all of this was sealed together. Not a zip seal, not a zip, a sticky seal thing, not one of those, but a sealed bag. There are the clear parts. I'm going to leave them in this bag so that I don't scratch them. We'll have a look in the build video, see if they're any good. Through the bag, however, I see no issues thus far. Yeah, it looks all right. Oh, and of course the instructions did show that there is an option for the canopy open as well, which is a nice little touch. Gives you a little extra feature on a kit. We're going to start where convention dictates with sprue A, which is here. Look, A067. That was the code for the first one, wasn't it? That was, yes. I've just double checked, so yes. We have the nose at the top here, and it's engraved detail. It looks fine, maybe not as crisp as we are used to in 2024, but hey, this is a nearly 20-year-old tool now, so expect to show some signs of its age. There's the cockpit bucket, if you like, with the control panels on either side. The very tip of the nose, and then we have mostly weaponry. So we got are they sidewinders? Do Jaguars use sidewinders? You can tell that I'm not really a modern aircrafting. In fact, the fact that I'm even calling this a modern aircraft shows that I'm not a modern aircraft fan, because this is from the 1960s. But hey, whatever. If it doesn't have a propeller, it's fairly modern. There's a bit of flash here where my finger is. That's why I was highlighting that one. Nothing major. And a little bit here as well. But nothing too difficult. These are the bits which aren't used, which is just as well, because almost all of those have flash. There's the tail. And here you can see that there will be basically no interior detail. There's nothing on the wheel well, nothing on the sidewall. Obviously the main cockpit piece sits in there. However, sometimes you get a bit of detail on there as well, but not the case here. There we go. And then sprue B, which is the wings, which shows you it's not a particularly large aircraft, is it? It sounds like I've never seen one before. Obviously I have, but it's still a surprise sometimes. Having things in model form, especially when they're all in the same scale, really gives you a sense of size discrepancies and differences between certain aircraft. So seeing a Jaguar up close is not the same as holding a 3D model of it, which is one of the reasons why I like modelling. Anyway, the wings. Again, very fine engraved detail. Looks very neat. Much better than on the nose. There's the instrument panel. Little raised bumps, a little bit of dry brushing will be fine for that. And I don't think it will be that big an issue, the interior detail anyway, because it's not a large visible canopy. It's quite a small enclosed box. I have a couple of bits here. Some wheels. Plenty of wheels. It does have double, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Oh, there's some ejection pin marks. That's a shame. Otherwise, everything was looking nice, wasn't it? Exhausts for the twin turbofan. A hook. We appear to have a hook for hooking things. Horizontal stabilizers. Undercarriage legs. very hefty things, aren't they? And the inside of the fuselage, let's turn that around so you can actually see something worth seeing. And there we go, look at that rivet detail, that's rather nice, isn't it? Yeah, and there's the wheel well detail as well. Yeah, you know what? It may be simple, but I think I'm probably going to enjoy this. And that's all you get. So I'm going to put it to one side and wrap this up. So this really does match my expectations and memories of Italeri kits. It's quite simple, but the detail looks okay. Not necessarily going to trust how historically accurate it is, and I will either build it and then do some research and then rant about it in the build video. Either way, hopefully it's going to be an easy thing to build. Right, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. You can hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when a video is released. You can even become a channel member like the people on screen. It is through the direct support here that I can better finance these silly purchases, such as going, you know what, I don't need any more kits. My stash is pretty full at the moment. And then about half an hour later going, oh look, a Jaguar. Either way, join them if you can, and if you don't want to, then fair enough. Just watching the videos is enough for me.